So today we're going to be talking about how we get social media success. And I've got a very special guest today, Alex Dodson from Ushita, who basically is a business advice and exit planning consultant. Is that how you describe yourself, Alex?
Yes. That's pretty much it. Yeah, we help people to define what their exit strategies from business looks like ahead of them perhaps retiring or going off to do something different entirely. Yeah.
And today Alex is going to be talking about her success on social media and be sharing some tips on how you can be successful on social media as well. Because Alex, you've been using social media for quite a long time now, haven't you?
Yes. I mean, I think we started kind of in the mid 2020s, 2010-ish, roughly. But like a lot of people, did nothing with it for a very long time. Didn't understand it, felt it was an additional chore, I think, rather than an asset to a business, which I think is where a lot of people start.
Yeah, and I think that's really important. A lot of people struggle with social media because they don't really understand it, and it can be a bit daunting.
I think it's also the fact that the posts that you see are the posts that kind of go viral and get absolutely astronomical views and likes and shares into the millions. And for most businesses, that's not the case. If you get double figures, that's fine. But as long as it's fine for your audience and your message, and you're growing your following in an incremental way, forget about all those celebs and the high profile businesses. It's got to be applicable and suitable for what you do. And I think it's a hard lesson to kind of accept in the early days when you don't know what you're doing.
It is. It's really hard because you're absolutely right. You see in this feed, you see all these businesses doing really well, getting a really high reach. But what you don't see in your news feed is all those other businesses that are posting regularly, but are getting a low reach. They don't necessarily go into your news feed, but they are going into the news feed of the people who are actually interested
in them and their products. Yeah.
And that's what it's all about.
Yeah.
Isn't it? Just being consistent to the right audience and making sure you're hitting the right audience.
Mm-hmm.
So Alex, shall I hand over to you then? Because you've got some slides to share.
I've got some slides.
Your social media journey.
Yeah, please do. I've got some slides. They're not very exciting slides, but they'll keep me on track. So as I say, 2011, I created a LinkedIn account for the first time. Facebook was a little bit before that, but only for social reasons, for, communicating with family and things. But I didn't start actively using LinkedIn till around 2018. And this early part, I'm going to specifically talk about LinkedIn because we're a B2B business. So we help people with their business exit strategies. And then we also help people to sell their businesses through business partnership. So B2B, very kind of a dull topic in a lot of senses, as not most B2B topics are. Some of it's regulatory, some of it's very statistic driven. So it's not easy stuff to get excited about. So we're never going to get huge follower numbers. But in
it's quite exciting. Sometimes it's quite exciting. I think when we're working in our business, we often think, don't we, that it's not very exciting. But to others, it's quite interesting.
It's being able to find that little niche and that nugget. So in 2019, we were on holiday and I videoed a man walking down the street with a bath. You can just see him on the right-hand side there. And I managed, I thought, well, I must be able to post this somehow. So I did a little post which was about determination and trying to reach your goals in business. And that was kind of the first time really that anything major had gone on any of my posts. So what I also then did in 2020 was go on furlough, like a lot of people through the pandemic. Yeah. And I decided, for my own sanity more than anything else, as I couldn't work, I'd started doing little bits on LinkedIn and decided that I would do a daily furlough diary. Now, my daily furlough diary had some good stuff, some bad stuff, and some absolutely atrocious stuff.
And I actually remember this daily furlough diary, because I'd come across you, Alex. We'd done a bit of networking pre-COVID.
We bumped into each other all over the years, haven't we?
But didn't really know you until I started seeing your furlough diary, because it popped up. I think it was every day you posted, didn't you?
Well, this is it. If you think of it in social media terms, most people had immediately stopped working. Half of had been furloughed, like me, and therefore they had simply stopped posting anything at all. So I decided I would just do something, as I say, for my own sanity as much as anything else. And there's a few examples here. So day 7. So this is kind of maybe 3 or 4 weeks into the national lockdown, and I posted, this just got personal. Mum hospitalized overnight, and that would have been pretty much all that anybody would have seen before they had to click see more to see the rest of it. But 15,000 impressions, 33 likes, 72 comments, and it was an even split of comments between my first tier and second tier connections on LinkedIn, which was interesting as well. But it just had caught the psyche of the people who were reading what was in their feed. They had more time to read it. Day 22, achieved achieved nothing today, and it's still got 1,900 impressions. So LinkedIn thought it was worth sharing to 1,900 people, and a few likes and comments. Equally, I posted the content of the plastic in my compost bin, and it bombed. So there was an awful lot of rubbish in there. But I think the bath video showed me that if you can post a video and it's witty, and you can link it to some sort of business theme, it got more traction on the social platform. What the diary did, the furlough diary, was it gave me a discipline of posting every day, and that taught me a lot about trying to think of something. But I had no pressure, because none of it was business related. I wasn't working. I was on furlough. This was all personal stuff. So running back to this timeline, so in 2018, I'd started actually using the platforms. I just was a lurker before then, but I lurked for a long time, and I did read stuff on these platforms, and I did notice it. I just wasn't commenting on them.
Yeah, but nobody noticed you.
Nobody noticed. The man with the bath, 18,782 impressions, which is phenomenal. At my very best, I was getting perhaps 500 impressions on my best posts. I was getting fewer than 10 likes, fewer than 10 comments. Nobody was sharing anything that I did. So this was a marked improvement and a standout piece of content. The furlough diary, that gave me consistency. But by 2021, status quo, old habits die hard. I just slipped back into doing very, very little.
Back to work mode. COVID.
Exactly that. So when you launched the Social Flock, I think you'd spoken about it maybe a month beforehand, that you had this idea and you were going to launch something. I thought, right, okay.
That's right, because I actually announced it at your networking event in Delamere.
You did.
First time I'd ever announced it to anyone. Yeah.
And I thought, okay, well, I know that I can do this. I know that I can have a post go viral in terms of my post going viral, nothing like a Kardashian, but my kind of viral. I had a post go my kind of viral. I had consistency that I could do, but I wasn't doing anything. So I needed to be held accountable. So joining the Social Flock and having to report to you is what I needed.
I got the whip out.
So I got organized. And the first thing was that I actually listened to you. So all of these little network events with a 20-minute presentation here from somebody and a 10-minute here on social media and somebody else on marketing and copywriting, all those little bits of information that as a business owner, you're learning all the time. You don't necessarily put them together, and some of them go in one ear and out the other. So having a regular weekly attendance of the Social Flock, I had no choice but to listen to you.
You couldn't actually escape, could you? Because if you didn't turn up, I knew that.
You knew. So one of the things that you taught us early on, or spoke about early on, was hashtags. So my man in the bath with the bath walking down the street, I'd actually added some hashtags, which for me at that time was a very rare thing to do. I didn't understand hashtags, didn't know what they were for, and didn't know that they were searchable.
Okay.
But one of the hashtags that I used was focused, because I talked about being focused in business. And focused as a hashtag on LinkedIn has 597 followers. But if I'd simply used the hashtag of focus, that has 9,000 followers on LinkedIn. So I would have had a broader reach for that post, even though it went quite broad anyway.
Yeah.
So, one of the things I've learned early on from you was, just understanding those hashtags and exploring the different variations of the words that you want to use.
Yeah. And it's amazing the little tweaks you make. They don't make a massive impact, but all the little different tweaks you can make to your posts, when you add them all up, they can make quite a significant impact, can't they?
Well, I mean, it's the famous quote from 2012 Olympics, isn't it? Marginal gains with the track cycling team, who everybody thought had much rounder wheels than any other bicycle team on the planet, because how else would they making such huge improvements and winning so many medals when they were only making tiny adjustments each time?
Yeah.
So the other thing that you gave us was a regular content schedule. So now some of this has coincided quite nicely with both Facebook and LinkedIn, the two platforms that I predominantly use, actually implementing scheduling tools that work on their platforms.
Mm-hmm.
So you don't have to use Hootsuite or Buffer or any of these additional platforms if you don't want to. And for me, and the way my head works, the more simple I can keep things, the more likely I am to do them. So I use the inbuilt scheduling tools on both of those platforms, and it makes it a regular content thing.
And actually, I think a lot of the social media platforms actually prefer you to use their own internal scheduling tools, because that's why they've provided them, rather than the likes of Hootsuite and Buffer, because they know if you scheduled it from an external platform.
They do, because it's just another link to bring in, isn't it? So that if they are going to prioritize two posts of similar content, one over the other, they're naturally going to prioritize the one that's more organic to their platform, because it's better for them, you would think. Anyway, I think it's important for me throughout this journey, throughout this almost a year now as part of the social flock, 99% of the time, what I post on LinkedIn is the same as the stuff I post on Facebook. I haven't varied it at all, because that's just a step too far in the time that I've got available to plan all this. It'll come in the future, but I think that's an important thing for people to understand when I'm showing my stats here. Commenting and supporting other people's posts. Now, that's something that I have since 2018, when I started using social media more seriously. That is something that I have consistently done. So when I'm going out to networking events, I always make sure I connect with people. And when I start to see their posts in my feed, no matter what platform it is, if they're interesting, I will like them, share them, comment on them. And it means that I'm not commenting, I'm not creating content myself. I'm using their content as well, where it's applicable and interesting. So it's a hugely important part of what I do.
And also it's really important for the social media platforms as well, because they want to see that you're part of the community and you are consistently engaging in other people's posts. You're not just posting and running. And I think that's one of the biggest mistakes businesses make, is that they just think they can post content these days on social media and they'll get loads of business. And you just can't do that anymore, unfortunately, because they're watching your every move and they reward those, don't they?
They do.
So we've had a little question from someone off Facebook. Where are the scheduling tools on Facebook? Well, do you want me to answer that one, Alex?
Because all I know is it's in Business Suite.
It's in Business Suite. So obviously we used to be able to schedule on Facebook pages, but they removed that. And you can either access it through Creator Studio within Facebook, or it's better personally, I think, if you go into Business Suite. So if you're on the computer and you're logged into Facebook, just type in Business Suite and it should bring up Business Suite. And on there, there's a scheduler. It also creates a little planner. And if you have an Instagram account, you can schedule to Instagram at the same time. And also if you have a Facebook group, you can schedule it in the Facebook group at the same time as well. So yes, have a look at Business Suite.
And multiple pages as well, isn't it? You
Yes.
can flip between multiple pages if you manage more than one company
Yeah.
page.
Yeah. So it's very, very handy. So,
Yeah.
yeah. Oh, Andrew Thorpe says hello. Hi, Andrew. Nice
Hi,
to
Andrew.
see you. Hello. Thanks for saying hi.
Yeah.
So go on then, Alex. Continue.
Well, I think the final thing, but by no means the least valuable from the social flock, is just the brainstorming of new ideas. As a group who are all trying to improve their social media presence and talk about how they're posting, we will share ideas, and I have stolen many already. So thank you to everybody for those. But it's about listening. It comes back to listening to what's going on, what other people are finding works for them, and just trying it out, see if it works for you.
And if you've not heard of the Social Flock as well, it's a social media support group that we run. So we hold content writing sessions every Monday. So we all jump on Zoom, hold each other accountable, write 3 posts for the week. So our social media is done. And some people write more. The more they attend, the quicker they get. But we also have lots of training and webinars throughout the month. We have a group where members share lots of ideas, questions, and things like that. So again, do have a look at the Social Flock. I'll put a link in the chat if you're interested in joining. It's only £45 a month as well. A bargain. As Barbara would say.
So this is my scheduler from Facebook's Business Suite for June this year. So you can see from this, what I wanted to try and demonstrate is I'm not posting 12 times a day, but I've got a schedule to it. So on a Friday, if we start backwards, on a Friday I will post something called Podcast for the Weekend. I listen to lots of business podcasts and I decided that I would start sharing them. Thursday and Wednesday, although I've got some stuff there, I generally don't schedule anything, because for me, the physical networking events that I attend tend to fall on Wednesdays and Thursdays, not every week. But by leaving those blank, it gives me an opportunity to post about the networking event and tag people in that I've met that day. So it's not going to detract, if I do that, from some other posts that I've scheduled. Tuesday, I try and extract a post from a blog. So once a month we write a blog and we break that down into several social media posts that we can use. And on a Monday, because part of what we do through Business Partnership is about selling businesses, we post about a business that we have on the market for sale. So it gives me a structure. Now, you've also see something there. There's a couple of things in on a Sunday. Social media, I think it's really important that you don't forget that social media isn't a standalone thing for most businesses. It sits alongside of your website and any other online presence that you've got. So for you, Bex, you've got your YouTube channel. I don't have that. But we've got our Google business page or Google business profile, whatever they've renamed it as at the moment. So when you type in a sheeter to Google or sell a business or exit strategy near Cheshire, then we're going to come up somewhere in the Google results. And you can post updates on that Google business page. So on a weekend, when I remember, I try and share from that Google page onto Facebook or Twitter. We do have a Twitter account. I'm not sure that we're going to have it for very much longer.
Well,
like X.
It's called X now, isn't it? Gone over to the dark side.
So that whilst there's possibly a couple of things showing up that on a Sunday there, by no means am I working on a Sunday. It's if I've got my phone in my hand, and this is about consistency as well. It's building in that consistency of have your phone in your hand during the working day when you're boiling the kettle or you're waiting for somebody to start a Zoom session or to attend a meeting. Have your phone in your hand and just, start looking at what you're doing. and see what you can share and like and comment on.
Yeah, I think that's really important. Oh,
So
just to say hello to Gary. Thanks for saying hi.
Hi, Gary.
And Andrew's got a little comment as well. He said that commenting on other people's posts takes the pressure off you to always say amazing things.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So exactly. Yeah. And then we've got a little question as well. In terms of best practice, have you had most success following the recommended posting times on MetaSuite or choosing your own? Lucy says.
For me, I don't pay any attention to the recommended posting times whatsoever. That's further in my journey of learning and discovery. I just post. I tend to post in the morning, and I tend to base it on the fact that that's when I am most active and most awake. That is no more scientific than that. So I tend to. So this sounds really mundane, but I will wake up in the morning, get myself dressed, and over breakfast, I will have my phone out and I will have the news on the TV, listening to what's going on in the world, and I will be scrolling to see what there is on LinkedIn and Facebook that I need to catch up with. Yeah. So for me, I just post in the morning because it's part of my routine.
I think that's important.
It'll probably change over time, but I'm not there yet. It's
important, you know, you've got to do what fits around your work routine and what you think feels right. If everybody posted at the same time on social media, it'd be very competitive.
Yeah, I think as well, the nature of what we do in exit strategies, it's not vastly competitive. It's not like I am, trying to schedule my Tesco's adverts to compete with Sainsbury's and Aldi and Lidl and all the other global competitors. So I think I probably benefit from the sector that I'm operating in, that I can be a little bit selfish in that as well.
Yeah, no, absolutely.
Okay. So these are my stats from LinkedIn. So LinkedIn and Facebook both give you some great stats at the moment. You've just got to find them, and Bex will be the one to help you find them, not me. So this is reach or impressions. Again, this is how many people my content has been put into their feeds for over the past year. So almost 100,000 people have had the opportunity to see my content in their news feeds, is how I look at it.
For free?
For free.
That's
absolutely.
You've not boosted any of these posts, have you?
No, we've done no advertising, no boosts, nothing. Top one is about Charles when he succeeded to the throne, and it's got 12,000 plus impressions, and it's this big spike here, kind of August, September time.
Oh, yeah.
And I think that was just because the topic was hot and being talked about all over the world, all at the same time. It means nothing to my business, but I posted something that caught somebody's imagination, got a few comments on it. The one below is much more meaningful because it's the day that I spent with my daughter in Sheffield, teaching her how to open up a LinkedIn account as she was graduating and just has.
Yeah.
So that got 2,000 plus shares, but much more applicable to my audience because most of my audience have met me at a networking event somewhere. So the likes and comments on this are much better, but it's still got slightly larger reach. What's more important is the engagements, though. Those impression numbers are just vanity. Just because it's been in 97,000 feeds doesn't mean 97,000 people have seen it.
Yeah,
could be at the bottom
that's really
somewhere.
important, isn't it?
Yeah.
Could have just scrolled past. But LinkedIn, to be fair, has realised that your content is valuable enough to put it in those 97,000 feeds.
Yeah. So, no, this is true. Yeah. This is true. So this though. So I mean, if you look at it, I've got 800 and whatever that says, 86 engagements. So that's either likes or comments or shares.
And that's just in the last 90 days.
This is just in the last 90 days because otherwise I'd still have this large spike in there throwing things off.
Yeah.
And the top post is when I declared it to be World Alex Day. I decided my birthday, 26th of May, was going to be World Alex Day. But I decided that back at Christmas. And since Christmas to the 26th of May, I'd taken a photograph, a selfie with anybody that I met named Alex. So what I was able to do was put a reel together of all those images. There was only about 6 people. It's not a very common name, but I could tag them in and I could tell everybody a little bit about their businesses and declared World Alex Day. So it was a bit of fun, but it also had a business related theme to it, rather like the man in the bath.
So I'm going to have to put it on my special days of the year wall planner,
Yeah, you are.
for next
World
year.
Alex Day, yeah, absolutely.
It is
and then the second one here, although it mentions Kim again, that's purely accidental because of where we were, but we were in a Chamber of Commerce event. And again, because it was a networking event with lots of other people in attendance, those kinds of posts will generate a lot of interest from the attendees. So that was my personal page, my Alex Dodgen page on LinkedIn. This is what panned out on Facebook. And this is my Facebook company page for Ashita. So again, we've kind of got reach, which is the equivalent of impressions.
Yeah.
And then we've got actual page visitors, people that kind of came to the page. So those 2 elements have replicated again. And the thing that I want to highlight here is this big boost in December. So, and this is where I stole somebody else's idea. So Jill Bishop was doing an advent calendar for her in the lead up to Christmas. I thought, oh, daily posts about marketing in her realm. That sounds a little bit like my furlough diary. I wonder, can I do 12 days of Christmas? Which I did. 12 days of Christmas, obviously, I started on Christmas Day and ran through to, is it the 6th of January, whenever it is. So that's kind of the latter spike here. The early spike was to do with just some other posts that I put on about a food bank charity. But you can see that the momentum that I built up continued. And if I flip back to LinkedIn, if you can, I don't know if you can see, but there is an absolute flat line in December where I stopped posting personally. So I did do my 12 days of Christmas on LinkedIn, but I posted it on my LinkedIn company page. And it really bombed because company pages on LinkedIn are really dire and don't really get any following.
Good experiment, though.
Good experiment. On Facebook, they're well supported. And I got this big kind of boost going into the new year.
Yeah, and it's interesting how many followers you have on your company page on LinkedIn and your Facebook. Can you remember?
On my Facebook, no, I've got like 102 followers on my Facebook company page. It's not a lot. I'm trying to get it up.
No, but you see you're reaching a lot more people than actually follow you. Whereas that wasn't true on your LinkedIn company page.
No, not at all. Not at all.
Yeah.
And then if you look at the bottom graph, the page visits, you can see that it's quite spaced out. There's a lot of flatlining between the peaks there till we get to April, and there's like tumbleweed. And I think this is at the point where when I was listening to you again, and you explained that company pages on Facebook actually get far more engagement and traction than they do on LinkedIn. And that just hadn't sunk in with me to that point. So whilst I used to post a lot on my personal Facebook account, I'm switching that now to my company page. So the activity is starting to get more frequent. And you can see that in the stats there.
Yeah, I'm just building it up. No, that's good.
Anyway, this is a comparison again from Facebook company page. You can see the black line is my company page from 2022 and the blue is 2023, or the year on year comparison. And cumulatively it's displayed on the right. So it is making a difference. And as I said at the top, this is my numbers in my field and my improvement. Your numbers are all going to be very different. But none of this makes a heap of the difference unless you start to see improvements in the leads that you're generating and the work coming through your business. So the graph on the left here are the website stats from September, when I started working with you in the social flock, to June. And you can see that the organic search, that has landed on our website has reduced, but that means the more specific search has improved. And also we're now getting organic social searches landing on our website that just simply didn't exist before.
Yeah.
So all improvements that are coming through to our website, and for me, the whole reason to be on social platforms is to deliver a short message, because you're restricted in what you can say, to deliver a short message that makes people want to know more about you. And the place that they go to find out more is usually your website. Yeah. And your website gives you the space to explain in far greater detail what you do and how you can help people. So I'm delighted that that's all moving in the right direction. And what it means is an increase in the leads that we've been getting through now,
which is the most important thing, isn't it? At the end of the day, that's why we're using social media. Yeah,
it is. Now, I've been able to separate out anything to do with business partnership and leads through the business sales aspects of what we do, or anything else totally altogether. And it's left me with leads that have purely come from Ashita. That's through our social pages or our website. And then I've added in the networking aspect of that as well, because the people that I meet networking are the ones that refer us in. But the people that I meet networking, I connect to on the social platforms, and I follow their stuff and I comment on their posts. And we have I'm not just meeting them on maybe an annual or a quarterly basis. I'm commenting and having a conversation through those social platforms with them on an ongoing basis. So, to the half year point in June, 180 leads. We've done a bit of, we've targeted some promotions the year before, but 88% of our leads this year have come as a direct result of the work that we're putting out there through Ashita, which is what brilliant. It's all about.
Yeah. Yeah, and a true testament, really, I think, for you, Alex, as well, just showing that, consistency on social media has a massive impact. And also a true credit to you for actually looking at your stats, because the amount of clients I look at who don't actually look at their stats and plod on with the social media thinking it's not really making an impact.
Yeah.
But it's just drip feeding that information out there, particularly with a company like yours, where companies, people may need you in 3 years' time, in 10 years' time.
Yeah.
Making sure that when they do need you, you're at the forefront of their minds, so they're not going to forget you, isn't it?
No, absolutely. We have a long lead time with some clients. They'll be talking to us for 5 years before they actually become a client, because they're planning their own destinies as to what they're going to do. Are they ready to sell? Well, they just need to think about it and start that thought process. So yeah, it's a long lead time for us in some cases. But yeah, it is that thing of, for me, it's the consistency. It's got to be consistent. We've got to be out there, but consistent in that holistic approach of, it's not just about me posting what I want to post. It's about what other people are saying and being interested in what they're saying as well.
Yeah.
And for me, those posts with a social aspect or a witty aspect always get far higher numbers than something that's purely business. But if you mix it up together, it can't all be fun and social. It has to be business as well. But it's understanding that you're going to get different responses to the different types of posts that you put out there.
Yeah. Woof, woof. No, absolutely. Can you hear the dog? Great timing.
Well, that's enough. Get off.
But yeah, so, and I think for you, Alex, it's great. Alex won our social flocker of the year in our group, because we like to have a little bit of fun in the social flock. But I think,
it's on the shelf above me, but all you're going to see is my belly if I reach up there.
So I'm sure you can share it on social media, Alex. Your award that you won at our last event. Now, we've got some questions actually that have come in on the chat, so we'll share those in a minute. But if you would like to join the social flock and learn how to be more effective on social media, and more importantly, learn how to be consistent, accountable, be inspired, and also generate business leads, then please do join us at the social flock. So we've got a couple of questions that have come in from Andrew. Andrew's asked a couple of questions, so I'll just put those up. So first question was, do you prefer A or B? That gets you a lot of LinkedIn comments, but does it add any value? Whoa, now this is an interesting one.
They're brilliant, aren't they? If you've had new headshots done or things of that nature, or you've got a new brand or you're refreshing your brand, A or B, they just go, viral in, in our small scale stuff.
Yeah. I think it's really important. And again, if you get the question right, you can actually get it to, one, help promote what you're doing, and two, raise your profile. I know I ran one when I launched the Social Flock and asked what Barbara should be called. We're in a competition. We ended it with, should she be Barbara? Or I can't even remember what her other name was, and got people to vote. And like you say, it was a bit of fun. People love to share their opinions, but it also raised the profile of the brand, and I think that's really important.
And if you're B2B like I am, and it's on the LinkedIn platform, you're reaching those second and third tier people through your first tier connections. If somebody comments, "Oh yeah, I like A more than B," it's in their network, and their network, doubles your own network effectively. Far more reach.
Yeah. So I don't know what you think, Andrew, but they can be very effective if you use them to your advantage. Random ones like, what shall I have for my dinner? Fish or fish or lamb. Yeah, a bit pointless.
Yeah,
but if you use them quite strategically.
Yeah, exactly. Strategic's a good word for it.
Yeah. So it's also, I love the use of the expression Happeth, Alex. I didn't see what that translated to in the caption, but I used the expression
Ballesteros.
God, you're glad you can read this.
Ballesteros.
I hope that means something to you, because it means nothing to me.
I did do a post recently, and crumbs, I can't even remember what it was now. But I'd written an email to somebody. Oh, I can't remember what it was. I'd used a colloquialism that I use quite a lot, and said, is this okay? Because I'd written it down for the first time. It would something like hapeth, or hapeth. Got a hapeth of interest or a hapeth of whatever. So it was just a conversation starter, and a bit like A/B testing. I think if you drop them in strategically, just every now and again, if there are people I see on LinkedIn, and the only thing that I see from them is a poll, and it's like a LinkedIn poll, and then next week you'll get another LinkedIn poll, and then you think, oh, and then another one after that. You think, oh, no, do something original.
With no thought, that winds me up. And in fact, I'm actually running a webinar for the Social Flock on Friday.
Yep.
Which is free to our members, but you can join if you want for £25, which is actually how you create a LinkedIn poll that actually gets your business, and thinking about it from step one right through to the end. So I'll be demonstrating that on Friday. So that was a good lead in. Thanks for that one. So Andrew's just put, Andrew thought, I'm going to have to introduce you to the famous Spanish golf. There you go. Well, obviously Andrew has remembered your post, Alex, so they are absolutely, definitely working.
Thank you.
So anyway, I'd just like to say a huge thanks to Alex for being my fabulous guest this week and talking about her amazing success.
Thank you.
Being a member of the Social Flock. If you would like to join us with the Social Flock, or you'd like more information about the webinar, for example, on Friday, then please do just click through onto this link that's in the chat. We'd love to have you as a member. We have a lot of fun.
Yeah, I'd like to steal more ideas off people, and you're very welcome to steal any that I have.
Yeah, exactly. We share ideas, we steal ideas, we repurpose ideas, but it actually works. And I think that's what's important. It's having a purpose for your social media and not just doing it for the sake of doing it.
Yeah, I've remembered my word now. It was yonks. It's been yonks since I saw somebody.
Yonks. Yonks. I love it.
Yonks, yeah.
Right. Well, thanks everybody. Thanks for watching. There will be no live stream for the next couple of weeks because I'm off, but we'll be back, I think, in 3 weeks' time, where Joanne Hawkins will be joining us and sharing
Lovely.
some of her tips from social media. So thanks everyone for watching, and we'll see you again soon. See you later. Bye.
Bye.